Looking gorgeous. Yes. Okay. Let's see some shit though. Okay. A fucking temperature drop warning? Good Jesus. Alright. We're in here, y'all. Come in. Crowd in. Let me see if I can turn up some brightness for the team. Hold on, y'all. Oh, shit. Okay. Are we all in? Hi. How are you doing? Pisces season. I just had this, like, weird urge to channel them inside. I'm inside. Got my guy on my back. Sweet precious. This, whoever manufactured him, he's like the perfect guy. This is Metairie Walmart, because that's where I got him. At the Metairie Walmart. And this is Beignet du Monde. They're both Morning Stars. Metairie Walmart, Morning Star. Beignet du Monde, Morning Star. This is my buddy's baby boy. This is his child. This is his son. Shh. Alright, let's sit up there with your daddy. Okay. First things first. You've never had a Crown Royal whiskey lemonade situation? That's where you went wrong. I think lemon's definitely like my fave. So good.
Yeah, the whiskey lemon.
Whiskey lemon. Yeah, let's just do some channel messages. I don't really have any like off the top downloads, I don't think. I think there was just like waves today that could get you, you know, back on the whatever. And it all has to do with like zooming out, you know, the zoomed out lens of where we are and why we're going through what we're going through, and really truly being tested by the divine to see like, are you truly in a surrender state? Like, do you truly like always reset yours? Do you always like reset to think that you're like the person who knows like what comes next, or do you actually like surrender because you don't know what comes next, you know, type of thing? So that's kind of what brought me here today, to do this bad boy, to do the little Mensakiyaki. Yeah, I just thought I'd brighten up the airwaves because this is my job. Okay. So let's see, yeah, Nine of Swords. It's like, I just feel like coming on kind of being a like warm hug. And just, like,
it's literally, I know, it's a mood. It's like, yeah, it's like, wait, this is what we do, we're energy workers. And I'm like, okay, yeah, sure. Yeah, it's time to like move that energy for everyone. So let's move it for the collective. So that's why we're here. You're valid, welcome. I go by the Holy Cow. It's probably, oh, and maybe we're on here because technically like our 13-day wedding portal ends today. And that is why we just cracked this.
And that's why we cracked this card.
Yeah, you're right. It's like, that's a big deal. We did really.
It's like
today's a holy day for us.
It is a holy day for us. It's really cool.
This is like a special day.
Not gonna spend the whole time talking about me, obviously, but even if I wanted to, but yeah, I feel like it's really such an honor and a privilege to deeply commit to things over time. Like, you know, one of the things I think about the most is like my marriage is like definitely something I'm like, yeah, resume builder. I think it's cool if you're someone who's like, especially at our age, to be like, yeah, I'm tackling like a decade-long commitment.
For sure.
Without it being like bozo small town, like high school hero. Like, no, it's a choice I made as an adult.
Right.
As a young adult, and I'm just a little bit slightly less young of an adult. But yeah, it's cool. So I'm really proud of that. So, you know, I think that's kind of the name of the game is like long-term investments are really all you get in the year of the horse. I think that's one thing that people are like, oh, it's going to move so fast. It's going to be great. I actually think it's going to feel like nothing's happened in this year. I think that the thing that the year of the horse is really going to do is I think it's going to be the year that people are like, well, that year came and went. And I think that's going to kind of suck because it's going to be the year that I think could see a lot of people like not really doing shit. Because again, if you don't build any long-term anything, those are the only things that are like fruitful at this time. So anyways, let me go ahead and get a little like really decent shuffle just so I can try to ask for like the highest vibrational messages. But I guess at this time, I'm just really grateful that I can pack up this circus and always do it on the road. I think that's really important to me and my husband in general. I think like a sense of self. And it's kind of, because it's kind of like what we were dealing with today. It's like, we take on all these like side quests all the time. Because really our overall goal is to like grid the light where God needs it. Like sometimes we're just called into an environment to like raise the vibration of it. And so that's why we'll have a chapter somewhere where we're like called to like invest in something. But when we're doing that, sometimes it can be really like, it can be kind of like frightening how much it's like, thank God we have Dolphin Boy Tethered Studios, because if we didn't have those things, I think when it's time to go through these like transformative portals, you can, it kind of really carves your path out for you, how it's going to feel. And I'm just really grateful that these things, like, there was a reason for all the, like, I document this so whoever really feels like this is a great playbook on how to like follow your own dream. I just know that at this point it really mattered to me that like there was a purpose for like me getting shaken down to nothing, and it wasn't even about like landing things outside of myself that I really wanted. It was actually so that like I can, like, the security of my business is like something that I can take and tap into kind of like on the phone now. And like, you know what I'm saying? Like for my husband, it's like the 2 laptops, we can get it done, And I think that's actually just gonna be more important because it's just like, we're gonna kind of be all over the place. Right. And I feel like,
portable tape that we like with 2 laptops.
Right. It's just so we can get it done from like, kind of wherever. Yeah. Type of thing. So.
It needs to be able to be like, we can pop up right here.
Right.
Bluetooth.
And this is really beautiful because this is a message of like a 5 of Swords. Like it's like, so the Page of Swords walks forward with just their sword. And again, I kind of felt this energy where it's like, there was a big wave of like, it's almost like a non-addressal. Like it's a lose-lose situation that it's like, you're still being asked to just like drop it and move forward because this is the prevailing truth. This is your primordial truth. And I think at this time in general, it's like good for me to come on and just kind of like, I feel like there's a need for affirmation that like, it's like, because I kind of feel like everything's on the table, what would be just like beating a dead horse. I mean, you have the conclusions you can draw. There's your emotions of things and how they are. But again, this is a good time to like notice how this isn't an emotional experience. This is like very logical. And I think the logic kicking in was something that I feel like many of us, if you're like me, have been waiting on, which is like, well, there's a big part of this is just like logical. It's not all just, it is deeply tethered to like your emotional compass because it would be telling you the true logic of it all. But at the end of the day, I think there was a big need to return back to that because I think that's where people were getting into a lose-lose where it was like, yeah, but some of this stuff like algorithmically is not tracking. Some of these ins and outs don't like actually like make a functional equation. I think that took time. I also get this happening like at a discreteness. I just felt that I heard a download. It was kind of talking about it's like all this silence, it leans on the side of not even avoidant because it kind of gives like a silence from misalignment. Like you're not really that like confused about why you're not hearing from things because you know where they are and they're just not where you are. So it's not that you would presume that these people are even quiet in your life, and I think about like just the people we're not aligned to. It's like It's not even so much it's like, oh, like even just like avoiding you. It's just like the silence is because of like your hands being for where you're at, what you would be navigating at this time. So it takes a lot of that. It takes a lot of being together at your highest self to really like know that that's what's happening. But yeah, I just feel like this Page of Swords is just going to give this message about sort of the lose-lose situation. And it's almost like non-consensual. It's almost like the things we don't, because we're not really choosing our own, right? So your relationship with your Page of Swords, how well you can like yield your truth in a new situation spiritually is like kind of like what's informing this. But let's just keep seeing what's crossing this Page of Swords. What's the message? So crossing it is the 8 of Swords and the Death card. And it's like my crown is like super activating. genuinely feel like it's like, this is like the oldest hang up of all time. It's like today brought up like the thing that can't be, it's like whatever in your life like needs or requires the participation of like both of these parties. This is like oppression. It's like this, so there's certain oppression that gets created spiritually because it's like you were supposed to be over here. This is your prophecy. This would be the Page of Swords prophecy to free this, to like, this is where God was saying is like, I made you the way that I made you, and I gave you the things that I gave you, and they all have a purpose. If you're out here guessing and using the materials God is giving you and making shit up and just thinking that's what it was about, it was never about that. Now it looks like the duty, it almost just looks like someone died. I'm serious. Like a lot of people feel really like it's kind of heavy. Because it's like, I feel like people feel like this transformation that I'm seeing this person go through is extremely positive. But there's this feeling of knowing that that transformation was actually triggered by a real, like, you killed somebody. Like, sure. This is where the divine would come and, like, give someone a new life because you actually, like, crashed it out. Right. It's like our boss, like, he couldn't even handle the fact that it's like, yeah, you're no help because I lost my phone and all this other stuff. All other things had to make that recover that situation. And there was just like this holding of like, I know I don't do anything to support these people to like heal when their death moments were coming. It's like, I don't do anything to, right. I know I didn't help with that. Right. And so it's, this is what I'm getting. It's like someone is like this is what I'm saying. It's like someone's like watching someone 5 of Swords. Yeah. Even if you didn't know that that's what's happening, that's what's like happening. Like by your unconsciousness, like you don't realize that you're actually just watching someone get murked, get slaughtered. Now, mind you, from what I'm feeling from the 8 of Swords is it's like being in the 8 of Swords, this can be something that can look very different for a lot of people because depending on how creative and a problem solver you really are. You know, a bitch like me is going to be putting 8 of Swords every time and still make bands because it's like, you see the blueprint, you know what I mean? I always got to turn my back, you know, but it's like at the same time, it doesn't still mean that I'm still not in these places where like people not following what the sort of truth, what's inscribed over their life has caused. Yeah. But I feel like that was the thing is like, I told you guys I had to go to New Orleans because it's like, I don't have to be above anything. Like I'm going to actually just go ahead and you know, I'm just gonna die gracefully. Yeah. Because this whole version of me is like, it really did crash and burn, you know? I have such a positive, enlightened outlook on 29, but it's because it really ended. 28 was like dystopian levels of mourning. Just about like how many times like things could just like let me die straight up.
Yeah, for sure.
Such an interesting read. Okay, so bottom of the deck is like the way a creative beginning comes into form. Again, I can't hold you girls. It's like God's will obviously will be done in the end. So it's why I never worry about a single thing I've ever said ever being anything because it's like it's gonna happen because it was written. But I do feel quite a bit like when we're looking at just how much, I mean, like I said, the fact, I think it's like destiny has to happen either way. I feel like the fact that it has to be communicated in this circumstance is just such a choice. It's like 7 of Pentacles, which means like, it means that the right things populated the right. It's like, I think the weight that's felt here is someone obviously still gets what they wanted. Someone else was always deserving of the highest outcome and actually just kind of got dragged like dog shit. Do you see what's just like not the best about that? Because it's kind of giving, I think we're just going to really learn a big thing about equal, like how to be equal along the way. Because I think that's what was being communicated here. Because there's so much that I feel like whoever ends up getting the Eight of Swords, whoever died, again, someone has Eight of Swords, Two of Swords. Someone was having all this spiritual initiation, was like being asked to do all the spiritual initiation of it all, while someone else didn't do. It's just like the comparison is like someone. It's one of those things where in the end, I hope you knew that it's like it can't be an unequal distribution. Even if it got divvied up, that someone took all the spiritual lashings from God just to come into the connection and the other didn't. It doesn't matter, because when it's time for you to tell your one truth, it will have to be equal in proportion to the weight of that. So that's probably why one of you may have gone through the that was fucking horrible. It took a lot just to have all of what I have right now. But, oh my God, it's so gorgeous, baby. So good. Beautiful. Oh, I love that. So good. So good. So it's kind of like what's unrelatable at this time would just be that this person will never have to relate to like being like you have a single truth that you have to tell that it will initiate you through all that game. So it balances out. But again, it's kind of just like there's like this sense of long-term investment, and this is like such an energy right now because it's like people know what they want. They have it's dealing with control. It's shreds of that ego where it's like I want to be the one who knows how this is gonna go, but you don't. I think that's just like, I mean, it's really simple, but it's like because this is immediately identifying like, yeah, I see something that's for me. I'm gonna immediately make a long-term plan. This is nature, right? This is a type of partnership that's like populating in nature. Do you see what I'm saying? Nature brought you together. Something natural. The natural ecosystem is showing this to be, and yet look at all this discordant vibration. It's like that's what ended up like this is like fighting on top of something that shouldn't have been, or putting competitive energy, or it's like why make a competition out of that? It's almost like I just feel like that backfired brutally. You made a competition out of something where it's like you already knew who you wanted. That's such a theme right now. It's like you already know who you want to have being what role in your business, but then you just I want to play a game on top of it, because what did not go well is the game. Just fucked with someone's intuition, because I think let's just never do that again, because the game was not divinely ordained. That's why it fell. That's why because that's what me and Dennis are dealing with in certain commitments where it's just like, well, the only thing that's kind of shitting on top of it were the parts where you try to play games. Like, even us moving back to Atlanta was straightforward. There's a lot of girlies who try to put Five of Wands on top of it. It's like, this is something God orchestrated. Why are you guys acting like you made this happen? It's like, no one made this happen. God made this happen.
Right.
That's what I'm saying. This is God making this happen. This partner coming to you, I think some of you went fucked up because you thought you did something to have this come. No, it was the divine. God brought you the fucking dream employee. God brought you the dream partner. God brought you across the dream, your favorite artist. Like, you did. I think that's all that I'm seeing here. Is thinking you did something to earn, thinking I did something to deserve Dennis is delusional and insane. That's why God trusts me with a love story. That's why I got it at 20. Because me and Dennis will never lie and be like, oh, we did the right thing and got this. No. It was complete nature. It was complete divine synchronous. It was just like only the universal causal realm could have brought this outcome together.
Yeah. Nothing.
So it's nothing to say like, oh yeah, because I would be a fucking fraudulent liar in 2026 if I was like, and look at what I got, because that I didn't know where this was going, and that's why I got it so quickly, because I was down to be like, I have no idea where this is about to take me. I'm sure very far from where we are.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely.
If I'm getting someone like you who's telling me that you're attracted to me, like, then she's like, I'm not in insecurity land, bozo land, poor girl land anymore.
For sure.
So I just let myself go. But I think that's what we're learning, is this is a huge collective energy where it was like, because in the end, it's obviously the only thing that's the untruth is the only thing that dissolves. But the truth was always happening. But it just looks like, again, let's never do that again, where it's like, something came to you, because it's like, I feel like maybe you're the person who's in the position to invest or move from the awareness that it's like the nature supported you to like secure it. So maybe because you thought you were securing it, that it was like, oh, this will be fun, let me milk a divine thing for what it's worth. I think also this kind of comes from thinking like, well, if I attracted one, maybe I can attract more. But then you have to realize what you're saying about the value of the thing you just got, that it's easy to find. Even if that's not what you intended to say, that's what you're saying. You're saying it's less miraculous than it was. And I think that's what fucking beat your ass. I think this is ugly, haunting truths. That trying to act like there was even other options in this is where you just look dumb right now. Because it was a lot more magical. The initial... I just feel like it was communicated to you that this is really magical, and this is immediately putting it in a box. You know? This is bitches giving you amazing ideas and then you ruining them. Only for all the stuff you put... Because you see how you create then the atmosphere where it's like everything's a bummer, everything's a downer, because the tower always has to fall on top of it. It's like, you know, we have an event this Saturday at our job, and like too much narcissism, toxic masculinity, and mansplaining got put on top of the event, and all that has to crumble because that's not what God's will was. Mind you, I did the architect. If I write something for you, just know, don't tamper it too much, because I'm channeling. I'm not doing it because it's fun. I'm doing it because it's a channel message. So, you know, if you try to alter that or try to like make bitches compete or fight for the original word.
So by the time you present the shit, I'm like, okay,
nobody can even recognize it because it's not the divine plan. It's not the original plan. It's just a tower now.
But then it's like people are like, oh, like why are you feeling lukewarm? It's like, I mean, or like not feeling nothing about it. It's like, well,
we don't even know what this is. You haven't even said anything. But that's what I'm saying. I feel like this is a huge collective message, because I just feel like this is what everyone would be going through right now in your life in some way. If you got something that was presented to you in nature, that you have to be honest with yourself. You didn't do anything to deserve this. You didn't do. It doesn't matter how your life is looking. I think this is hitting the people the worst that have some shit. That I told you, you're gonna be very surprised that the girls who are about to be up are the ones who are single and zero. You thought you're gonna eat with that house and stuff, but I think it's the bitches with houses, it's the bitches with big jobs, running business and stuff that are doing shit like this. Because you have illusionary power. You have fake little towers and shit. And it had you thinking like you control more than you do. Like, newsflash, even if your business is successful year after year, it's all coming from God. Whoever pays you, whatever contract, it was approved by God first. You know? That's where your help really comes from. Because we can take it back to nature. The planet sustains all of us, so, you know. So whatever goods and services you can build, don't let it go to your fucking head, brother. Because look how much that's what I'm saying. It's almost like, look how many hoops you put on top of it's supposed to be way simpler. This is getting one message and then like processing it through your insano brain. One of the big meditations that I was feeling today that I feel like is relevant to share with you all was just like, I've been really coming into this awareness that like my higher self, like what you guys would know as Alexis Ray Morningstar, is an aspect of me. But the reality is like I'm recording. I love filmmaking because it's recording my flesh suit. And I'm recording my human body, which is its own sentient being. It's not divided up, it's a whole thing. And so I've just been really getting all this meditation about thinking about and reflecting on myself as like a whole thing, a thing that doesn't move on its own. So it's like, you know, I take it really sacred when my body feels the need to dance all the time or like, you know, respond to music or something, because it's just like, that's telling me so much more than I even like let myself realize. When I'm channeling and stuff, it's like freaky. It's like I'm the signal, you know? It's like, so I take all of these things like very, very seriously. And I feel like that's what this process is becoming, is like, it's what's uncontrollable, because we're really just witnessing ourselves. The consciousness journey helps you witness the animal, the machine, the body, you know, that has its own plan. And I just try to do the work that I do to like help people come back online to like the fact that that's the real perspective we should be having. But yeah, it looks exactly like that, where it's like, I think right now there's a big slowing too, because it's like it's already naturally happening. Like today, your to-do lists are going to look very different because the to-do list that you can think of is already happening. You don't even have to verbalize. This is where Virgo is like doing too much. Because it's like, you don't even have to go, like today, Dennis and I was like, oh, we have to really like unpack and like put everything away and like reset all of it because we brought so much stuff to New Orleans. But it didn't even get done by us like sitting down and being like, doing it. We're so integrated now that it just got done by just like us vibing. And then we naturally realized we were able to flow into our day. You know, sometimes like lunch looks different. Sometimes like we drive to work like 45 minutes early so we can do, but some days it was just about being flexible and just like changing it as we go to make sure that we're always accommodating whatever we need. But that flow is now being introduced because we're not really dealing with like having this problem where we put so much control over it to where it's just like we can't see the forest through the trees. You know, we can't see what was already going to happen. Because I think the perspective I took was like pretty much just like, yes, I get it. I might be way ahead of you girls because I'm just like very open. I'm a very open vessel. So I will take information as early as God wants to administer it. And so maybe I saw parts of this coming that just because I was open to it. But I do know that I held that perspective all 2025 was just like, I don't have control. And that pissed my parents off because they thought I was like, no, I'm telling you exactly what's coming. I have no control over how that comes in, you know? And then everybody was like, well, you're a bold-faced liar. You're a fake filmmaker. None of these people are coming through for you. It's like, well, none of that has to be true. I'm bringing you into a wider picture of what it's like to be me. But I see future information, which can help me be more yielding. Like if I know, like for me, I was getting told that I was going to be ready for a thick ass tour. So tour life is something you have to be really changing your lifestyle to be prepared for. You're not someone who's thinking like the average person who wakes up 9 to 5 and runs a household. So that's what I would use. That the reason I'm open to that and I keep preparing myself is like, well, if that's what I'm doing in the future, it's like all my steps need to make sense. I feel like I'm being given that information is just kind of make sense of it, you know? And so that's kind of what I see here is like, you know, some of you are being aware now that you're not going to be given divine information anymore because you got tested and it looks like you failed the test. I just feel like the Page of Swords sub Eight of Swords gives like C- frequencies, like not your best, like not a great report card, because it's just like, do you see what happened as soon as God like gave you an insight on what was to come and what like where the destiny is meant to go? You guys took credit for it. Now it looks like you have to have this sustaining tower moment where it's like you don't get to take credit for it. Something is out, something will be spoken, something there's something that has to discredit that you did not know what the fuck was going on or how this was going to come together, and your plans for it were always bad and landing badly. I feel like that's why I was like, yeah, it wasn't a joke, it was actually like accurate, like what I was reporting earlier. It's just like, because those are the aspects of it where it's like there are people who try, like, yes, I think they're on board, but I think the problem is as soon as they got told a little bit, and if you're in a position of power, you ended up kind of just becoming an oppressor, which it's still gonna work out exactly as like God is intended, but it's like that's what does get acknowledged right now. Is that like that's what you put into the story? Is that like you tried to control parts of it more so just embarrass yourself because you tried to act like you knew what was going on, like what the story was, what the through you think this is someone who thinks they know why nature has brought something together and you actually didn't, because your first thought was to try to make something fight for something it already has. This is nature bringing both of you together, not just bringing someone to someone else. I think that's the other issue here. Is like if you were the person who has what you think of as an investment, I think you thought that it wasn't two ways. I think you thought like, I get this. Your perspective is like, look what God is giving me. And it's like, so then you made the other partner, this equal, fucking go into the fucking chicken den, fucking cockfight for some shit that is already in their hand. And that's the crazy part, because that's so the message right now, you know. For sure. And then it just looks like if that's you, then you're just, the only thing is you're dealing with an unrelatable. It's just your tower. It's just whatever you built up on top of the original divine plan. It's not going to stand on top. The destiny is still going to happen. I don't think anyone here is on a different page about where we all end up. I think it's about what you try to take credit for. The whole is crazy, because that's fucking with God. You're not embarrassing the person that you just put through the fucking shitter. Yep. Yeah, it's an ego death. It's a shadow integration because this is a lover's situation. So, I mean, just put you on game. When you're dealing with the lovers, you girls are fake Valentine's fans because you can't stat to Saint Valentine. When you're dealing with the lovers, you have to understand you're submitting to the will of the divine. The lovers is the person that God wants for you. It's not that bullshit that you're on. It's what God has decided. And so you, with any story of like soulmates, true lovers that get to live it out, they only get the reputation of that because God knows their hearts. They would always say, this is where we got it from. Like, we got this from God, period. That's what I'm saying. That's what many of you girls think you're single and you think it's because of all these semantics and because everybody's fucking raised by narcissists. No, you're actually single because you would actually take credit for love. And that's why we'll never find you. Because it's not, you're not that interesting. It's like, people see God through you. Like, the thing is someone who's highly attracted to you, like, sees God, like, sees divinity in you. There's no need to etch out God in that. There's just no need. And it just looks like that's where the whole sort of delayed feeling is. It's like this looming start. But, I mean, the start can only happen once this has been healed. I just feel like it's very much on the plate. You know, I do these check-ins so that we know where we're at. I think we know the overarching story. I think it's just when you girls want to come around to dealing with the steps that are on that story. Because this is the step where there's just like an acknowledgement, ownership, Page of Swords. I'm the one who put all the rigmarole on it. That's a lot. It's what I'm saying. I just feel like I was pretty much in flow all 2025. I knew just as little as everyone else did. But I just feel like I went through a lot of shit. I don't know what you girls went through, but I went through a lot of shit in 2025 and I was able to have a pretty decent attitude. You know, I was actually able to pretty much have a decent time. In every moment, I just knew it was just about, you know what, I'm shedding something, but also just be good to myself. Try to make myself have some fun while I'm going through whatever I'm going through. So if I had the time to do that and I was facing housing insecurity and no food and water and shit, like, it's like there's not really an excuse type of shit. It's just, so in the near future, it's the Four of Pentacles, right? Which is the foundation. But it's the foundation you built. But that's what I'm saying. It's like, it's like the outcome gets stabilized. I just feel like there's this huge Eight of Cups, which is you having to walk away from this concept that, like, because the whole thing with the Eight of Cups is the achievement of being able to do that much for others. But then the next step is realizing, like, you gotta the Nine of Cups is learning how to replenish yourself from within. And so I feel like you've mastered filling other people up. But now it's time to really look at why this whole partnership, this whole thing happening in nature was to help solidify your foundation. Not the foundation you create out in the world for other people, but your personal foundation. That's what this leg of the journey is about. That's what this new... And that's what you didn't know while you were so busy trying to control it, trying to give yourself the same lesson that you've already had. You know what I mean? 33. The same lesson. This person isn't meant to teach you the same lesson as all these other things that have, you know, taught you lessons in life. And I just feel like the High Priestess is so connected to the King of Wands. And again, it's the part of ourselves where we want to be the creator of our situation. We do create our circumstances, but all of our creations must be in attunement to the will of the divine. Otherwise, you go through this. You will indubitably, it's pretty simple. It's not even that interesting of a story, to be honest with you. When, in the end, every time I can tell you how the story is going to end, whatever wasn't God's plan will crumble. So, but that's going to hurt somebody else's feelings because you think that some people who are anti-God's plan are always just like these villainous people. No, it's a lot of people who want to just be, who want credit for making everything happen or building a bitch. It's like, okay. You probably think you birthed yourself into this planet too, huh? Right? We all have to come to the humility that we're someone else's nut. That's not by accident. That's like on purpose. So that we don't ever get too carried away. Because you could be like Nikola Tesla or something. You could be a nigga who's making something or inventing something. And get too turned up-y. I built Tethered Studios. I can't get too turned up-y. You know? And this is finally surrendering. I think it's just so... And I could feel this because this happened to me all last year and well into this year where it's like, you could be so burdened. Like every moment of every day, I can definitely take the 10 of Wands, just the route where it's like, I can tell that it's just like the battle is that I just want to carry some shit or I just want it to be heavy. And I have to really, I check in with my husband on it. It's like, dude, right now, it doesn't have to be heavy. You can always choose to surrender and it doesn't have to be that you, because choose at this point in time of the year, the horse, it's like all that heaviness is coming from, you know, this desire to, yeah, I guess when you want to play God all the time, it's just like your plate is just like mad heavy all the time. But I think this is about you finding out that you can have what's for you and you don't even have to, like, you can completely show up providing to a specific, like a space or in a situation without it even needing to provide for everyone's future and stuff, you know? Because I'm just gonna be honest with you, that stuff is not really possible for you to do well and honor yourself, and it's just like unnecessary because technically God is really doing that already, so you don't have to be the one. And I think this is healthy evolution, you know? It's okay if you've always functioned that way. I'm not even like judging. It's just like it needs to be. And then the fear space, the Seven of Swords, the Empress. You know, it's like I don't really want to steal from myself for any reason. I don't want to be stealing from myself for any reason. I'm trying my hardest to not be scared of even what stealing from myself would look like so that I don't manifest that. Because the root of all of that is that I'm obviously someone of value. I have a whole empire to give myself. Holy cow, y'all. Do you know how this reading ends? It ends in exactly double ace. Creating something solid. This is the message of the Page of Swords. I'm giving context so that everybody's clear that we all knew what was going on here. But that's what happened. It's like the Page of Swords has to come give this Ace of Pentacles new beginning, creative beginning. That we, and I just feel like the whole tea is that it's like, yeah, the High Priestess had the exact vision of how it was all supposed to start. And yeah, obviously everyone needed to get to their foundation. I'm just saying it doesn't have to be toxic. Like even me getting here, I can acknowledge that maybe I wasn't where I needed to be. Like anytime I've been rejected by things that I felt like were on my path, it's like I can always grow. That's obvious. But I'm not someone who makes it hard for other people or makes people feel like that it's something other than that. Like I wasn't a problem. Maybe it's better for me to do things at 29 than at 26 or to 22. Okay, great. You know, but I think that there's a valuable lesson that we're learning about. It's like, how do we want to make this feel for other people? Because again, I'm such a go with the flow, like nature is really comforting to me. I feel like war feels like that exactly. But I feel like when you create wars, you also put damsels in distress. And genuinely, I don't really feel like there's a reason. You know, like I just don't really feel like there's a reason at all, so. Yeah, I get it. It just seems like there's a big mistrust wound, I think, because when you're thinking about this, the fact, I mean, there is no control here, right? This is, I feel like what feels risky is these are relationships that, like, it does kind of, it can feel almost random. Like, that's where this is where you girls hate the divine. You girls talk about how much you hate being impressed, but then when miracles happen, you're like, but that can't be my soulmate. They just blew in. Like, you think I don't resonate, think about every day how, like, I met my nigga on Tinder? That doesn't feel super divine, but then you have to really meditate and be like, that's super kismet. It takes so much technological advancement and so many lives just to make my connection with my husband happen. So no, it's not actually like lose, but I think if you girls come, like I'm saying, like, yeah, you know, it can feel disorienting. You mean to tell me I fucking sent in an application on Indeed and that's how I ended up in this whole karmic cycle with all the, you know, when life gets hard and you working somewhere and you're like, how the fuck did we even get here? Oh, and then it's really easy to want to jump ship because it's like, well, I'm fucking stupid for following my heart because I fucking found them in a random ass way, or I started this in a random, and I feel like that's what you girls did. But instead of just realizing that's just nature bringing things to you, like we would pray, it's just the divine administering the new to you. But I think we gotta gauge on our own schizophrenia, you know? Like, I think we got a mental health check-in. Cause it's like you got a high priestess. It's nothing bad. I don't even think a high priestess, it's not even like your type of bitch that's like scared of the esoteric type of shit. It's like, all I'm seeing here is like your alley. And they are helping you build the exact foundation you want. That's what I'm saying. There's this energy of like, it's almost like someone already got, like they already, that's what I'm saying. It's so giving these things. It's like they already got, you already possess in your hand 10 times. Like they already gave you the cash advance. Like one side has already paid off there. That's why when this comes in, it's like to the side that has gotten nothing. Because someone's already been through their 10 swords and is like already in a page, like they're good. They got what they needed out of the contract, where someone else is like hung up with the tab because they already paid off their shit in advance and stuff. So like I said, you're gonna, for this person that's been like 8 of swords, it's gonna feel like, I mean, it's kind of it's one way to do it because it's like bodying something, like bodying the whole thing before you even have to. So it's like you won't ever have to do any work again because you already overdone your side. That's why you feel burnt, because it's like, I feel like I've kind of already given you everything that I was supposed to give you. You're right about that. I'm not here to gaslight you. You have, if you're in that part of the situation where it's just like, what the fuck, dude? Like, I just feel like I took all the responsibility spiritually for this. There is definitely a trade-off for that, which is that you did take responsibility for everything spiritually. So it's like, you don't have anything else to pay. And, you know, it's kind of like, and I think this is just someone who's been wounded in the past. I think the other end of this is just someone who's got like trust issues. Because I think that's why they're the kind of people who manifested through their fear, like needing someone to completely invest while they don't show anything. Before because I feel like this person has grandiose plans. It's gonna obviously give you this. I think it's just their trust wounds. That's kind of like they're being brought to. It's like obviously the universe is gonna deal with you properly. Where it's like, well, guy, like you're asking for like the whole 6 months commitment, but and that's like sure. But if they actually give you that and you don't give that along the way, you're gonna make dynamics. But also like in the end, I think you're going to come to realize like, oh wait, I did get everything I wanted, and what do I owe the person who gave me everything I wanted? And then think about their experience. They didn't get anything from me while I was like, again, it's like putting people in purgatory.
Right.
So, again, God's plan will happen, and I feel like that's what the other party does. Like, I feel like I'm being punished just because I know what God's will is here. You do too, why are we acting brand new? Type of thing. So, yeah, nobody's going to be able to get it. It's like, well, you know, it wasn't the right time. You're not going to be able to use that excuse. We know it wasn't the right time because nothing was happening. But it's how you treat things on the way to the right time definitely, like, affects the situation, I guess, is like what I'll say. I guess we're all going to be at fate and destiny one way or another. Because I'm not even, that's what I'm trying to get you guys to understand. Nobody even likes you just because of you off top. They like you because God has made you for them. It's not, it's like, it all goes back to the Most High. So it's like, okay. See, let's clarify. What's the Page of Swords coming to say? Yikes. Yeah, the Page of Swords, like, yep, they're pulling up with a reparation. What is the reparation? Hi, here's my message that the karmic law got on my ass. Because you were my equal. It's like, you're my 6 of Cups. 6-6. Like, it's like, yeah. All I was supposed to do was like, this is the Page of Swords being like, everything that I was asking of you, I'm also supposed to be doing. I'm you know, it was never a dynamic of like, you give, that's what I'm saying. It just feels like there was this huge energy of like, oh, because of whatever position. I think this is someone who doesn't know someone's your equal because the universe just brings you together. And obviously you have very varying positions. Like maybe you just different, you know, you could own a business and they could be like a new hire or something. But what you're not realizing is like, in the age of the Aquarian, if you're getting attracted to people, they're your equals. Anyone that comes into an alignment with you, no matter how it looks. And so you have to understand what you give is what you're going to get. And so if you're the type of person that's like, you're just here to give to me. That's what I know. I know what you are. You're my blessing. You're the thing that I say. Then that's what you're dealing with right now. You're dealing with your divine counsel getting on your ass being like, okay, and that was an equal the whole time, so replay the whole thing now from that perspective. Oh. I think that's what the whole oh is really about. It's like, oh. You know what, when I look at it that way, that's embarrassing. When I don't look at them as like a indentured servant, like, oh, wait. Because I feel like that's what got flooded. There's a bunch of physical material that helped to rebalance your perspective. So maybe there were things that were veiled from you, but like, again, if you got flowers, they got flowers. And I feel like all that's physical now. It's like their whole shit, there's nothing veiled. If nature brought you together and you weren't seeing the whole picture, like you definitely got the whole picture now. And that's probably, it's just like a primordial feeling. So I feel like it's also this Page of Swords who's like, oh my God, I feel so, what the fuck? Why was I on that? Because it's obvious what, oh my God, Dennis. Why was I, that's what I'm saying. You know how I'm telling you might want to also relieve yourself of some of this shame, because it's a shame how people were dealing with star frequencies. The Aquarian energy was being dealt with insanely. I think it's a big thing. There's a lot of people right now in the collective that are just like mortified because there was a star in their story veiled. It's how they treat their own inner star, but it's like the star in theirs that they're witnessing out in the world. They'd go up to star energy and fucking gaslight, girl boss, and gatekeep. Yes. And that's why there's so many people that are just like, you now have to physically rebalance it, because it's just like, I mean, it's just embarrassing, because I feel like this Page of Swords would have been yapping and bumping their gums. It's just a lot of gossip. This is a lot of made up bullshit lies. Look what you put, this is the position you put a star in. Look how much you said on their shit. And it's just like everything that was said is like completely not true. It's like once you get the fully balanced perspective, it's like, what the hell were we even talking about? That's what I'm saying. I tried to tell y'all last Gemini season, I was like, I wouldn't get too drunk right now. Everyone you're with will not be with you in 5 months. And I told you, you can go quote me on that. I said, you will lose it. What'd you girls do? You got drunk as fuck. You kikied with those girls way too long. It's a crazy vibe. Yikes. Yikers. Tell me why a big part of this too is getting over you. Again, this is a King of Cups who has to understand that you have to be able to be comfortable being distinguished. You are the way you are for a reason. Following this hive mentality with a bunch of losers will only test your God strength, your emotional capacity, and your emotional boundaries, and it'll probably involve a crucifixion. This is being overtaken. This is like the type of frequency, it's like, you ever realize like you've been around too many fucking losers? Because their fate, it's like you think that the group's fate is your fate, so you let yourself go under. But again, I think it's like the Cancer message I had in July, where I was like, you're not in the wrong place. It's very possible that very frequently, that's why you have to have a very tight connection with your higher power. It's like very possible for you to be the one person that's in the right place and everyone around you is not where they need to be. Because I've played myself out of many positions thinking that because I was responsible for the badness, so thinking that the answer is always that I'm the one who should go or cut the opportunity. And in the end, I learned the hard way. It's like I just removed myself from something that I could have also been more energetically dominant and just let the weaker vibration move out of the way, because that's the discordant. It's not, what you have to realize is you're not the discordant one. It's absolutely the masculine. This is the part of our masculinity that has to heal. Because I think toxic masculinity, 6 of Rods reversed, 7 of Rods reversed. This is not being the stand-up guy. This is the gang raper. This is the guy who's like, they told me, my bros were telling me, they were passing it. It's like, it's not a good vibe. It's just an antiquated, old-ass way of being. It's just, the masculines are further ahead, but again, I don't think you realize that though, because this is negative creation. This is becoming a statistic, even. Straight up is what I heard you saying. Becoming a statistic. Choosing to create that and crucifying yourself by how this went. I don't know how to. Yeah. And the reason that you treated your divine lover like a back alley, like a back door, is because you had not walked away from you can't. This is the thing. One of the biggest reasons and incentives to continue to do the work to like rid your frequency of demonic possessions, demonic frequencies, low vibration, is because you do not know when God is going to sprinkle the love of your life in your life. You don't know that. The love of your life can come in so many ways. Romantically, the love of your life for your business, for your art, for your creative endeavors, for your family, for your whatever, You just don't know when you're going to get that. And it just sucks because I just feel like there are so many signs and synchronicities that tell you when it's time to give up a toxic, devilish pattern of bondage, addictions, whatever, the vices. Because if you don't graduate that stuff, you never go through the front door of stuff that has your name on it. You always think that you have to go through the back door. And this is someone who treated something that you had the opportunity to go in through the front. You had the opportunity to handle this consciously. And I just don't believe that you did. Right? It's just feeling the need to cast a shadow on a star. Something that's meant to light your sky up, you strategically chose to dim. I think that's the heavy part of that. And you realize now it's not even just you, it's the lack of separating from the toxicity, because the toxicity does become you. I try to tell people, move with urgency, because you will become the vibrational resonance to the top. It's no longer a devil. It's who you are, I hate to be looking this sexy while I'm channeling, brother. I'm telling you right now. It sucks. High accountability and a crazy lethal mob. It's awesome. For me. So the Fool. And that's what I mean. It's like kind of Fool. So this is where I say it's like, there's nothing to fear, even with the way that the situation plays out, because the highest decree is that like people's highest selves are still in accordance with what God's will is. So you can be deeply asleep and your higher self is still like trying to wake you all the way up so that you don't let the fucking body like not carry out the plan. But the higher self is on the same page. The higher self is the divine masculine is what's saving all of us right now, because the divine masculine has been very much like, I will be at the new beginning. I am in my emperor. I am ready to run all of this. I have personally fulfilled myself. I followed the intuitive call immediately. I knew who you were immediately. I think there's an aspect of that that's kind of always going on. I think there was just a deep vacillation, because I think that's kind of the bipolar side of it. I think this ascension's been kind of hard because it's like you can kind of get that from people. You can get a side of them that's very like, I've always been on board. I never second guessed it for a second. But you can also get the side of them that's like, they have not cut off the toxicity, and it's just like, this is impossible for you to choose this consciously because you're just so toxic. Big theme. And I think that caused just it was so mentally taxing, I think, holding this cup of love for the feminine, because this is a lot of potential in the divine masculine to be divine. But what they had to let go of is like I feel like the feminine had to just like release herself, because you don't have a guarantee that someone's going to choose to do that, because we need to see evidence that it got cut. But I feel like that's what's being communicated, is the reason the Page of Swords is able to come give and equal give and take now is because it did actually have to do the cutting, and it had to be able to identify what needed to go. That's why I only believe that God ever tells me to sit tight and hang through some toxic shit, because things are going to go in the favor of like recovering the time spent holding on. You have to believe that. But oh yeah. So in the near future, someone's about to take back their foundation. They are no longer going down a certain path. This is like someone being miserly to protect their ability to feel full spectrum and feel good. That's again, I told you, it's like there's something that someone was creating that was affecting the foundation. There's a choice that you made foundationally. It's something you cannot include in the foundation if you want to embark on this path. So I just feel like the near future is like, you really have to look at what's in your foundation. And I just feel like the High Priestess is just showing up as seeing this, because the King of Swords, has to have go sit on his throne and have walked away emotionally from all that before there can even be like an honorable discussion. So it's like, Six of Swords, go handle that before you come face to face with me. Yep. Because it's like the High Priestess wants one thing. Let me know. It's like, let me know when that shit's out your head. When he's gone, let me know. Yeah. You gotta get that out your mind, because that demonic attachment being brought into this, like, well, the only thing that would make it up is like, we gotta start by knowing that's not in the picture anymore. Because there is no future if it's in the picture. I think that's kind of the point. If your foundation includes that, you don't get it. I think that's just like super cut and dry. That you don't get to hold both worlds. Let's look at the fear space. It's back to that stealing from your divine counterpart. This is fear. It's like this huge fear of, it's what I'm saying. It's like, I think it's just an issue of control. It's like you wanted something, you get presented with something, obviously that you desire, obviously that you want. I think your initial brain, it's not that you wanted to destroy something. I think this is why you guys are coming back with the humility and the love and the blah, 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 and the proper offer. Because it's not even that you were trying to just be destructive or destroy somebody or fuck somebody's day up or fuck, none of that. I think it just has to do with like how you would have approached handling something if your perception is that like we're on this planet to come here and just like do the thing. Like, we make it happen. So I think that's just what you were doing. You were making a plan, but you weren't including divinity. That's the only issue here. Is like, God gave you this partner. So I think the places where you manifested stealing from yourself is being fearful of it. I think you're actually very freaked out about how much you genuinely felt about this thing. that it's where your worst fears were manifest. Because this thing will make you face your fears in order to hold it. No question. Wow. And I just feel like the outcome is really this King of Wands being able to offer something that is not just an Ace of Pentacles, but for two, it's an eternity. It's the whole picture. This is a full commitment. This is someone who is ready to commit fully to a vision. Because this is more symbolic than we think. It's not just about, it's also about giving the Ace of Pentacles when you realize it's something that you can continue. And in the end, like I said, it's just like that's what all that rigmarole would have been about. But I think we can also have upfront discussions about like what your fears are, about what the unknown is. And I think it's just like a situation where it's just like include people. You're not here on this earth by yourself. Like again, like we don't want to spend so much time in the trying to connect to each other. Technology exists to make it way easier. I don't think we have to like go back to like glacial speeds of connecting. We don't need like in 2026 it shouldn't take you 6 months to find what you need. You know what I mean? Not with the internet. That's the only thing God's saying is like, why do you guys want it to be like Cold War level speed of communication and finding your, it going slower doesn't make it any more magical. Like the whole like finding, it's like, there are innovations for a reason. So utilize that and allow it to, Let me just see what our final message is. I'm just going to do my final card. This was fun. Oh no, this is just... Aww, what do we get? Yeah, it's like really heavy. There's just a tower. This is someone expecting. I think right now they're just kind of like a lot of people that are kind of just bracing themselves for a tower to fall. That it may not even really include anyone else. I just feel like this is that's what I'm saying. I just felt the need to come out and say, if you put a tower on something, which you would know by now, that tower is just gonna have to come down. It's because it's like the inevitable. This is just karma. I think someone's just like, yeah, I just kind of deserve that. Because whatever comes out, whatever has to be said is an extension of, it's just for your awareness so that you know what you built on top of something that did not need to be built. So, oh, see, I just kind of feel like I'm just like more messages. Let me see what else we're saying. It's interesting. Again, enough evidence. 2 of Wands reverse. I think it's just time to do it. I think it's like really the time to, I think it's like me really seeing the time where people have to really pull the plug. I think I can't really see that timeline going on any further. Where it's like, it's so I think this is just huge. Like, it's the message is like, the spill is separated. It's like, maybe that's a message like, it's already like, what's meant for you, it's like, what's meant for you is like standing up, upright, fabulous, full of juice. And then everything else that would just be, the other frequency would just be spilled. Straight up. It would just be, it's so simple. And I think people are expecting that. And I think it's just because of the awareness that you have, that you would also know through this message, through just me massaging you right now, that you know what's a tower. Because it just has the frequencies of like no foundation, And that's why in the end, it's like, this is a path you're not going to be walking anymore. But again, the higher energies, the Five of Cups is like an emotional reinvestment. It's like, you were once looking at something, and I think this is just a part. But I also want to just consider this a good thing. I think you're ready now. I think you're naturally ready now. I think that was the biggest thing. Is like, I could tell you from a mile away something that's like a tower, no problem, as a seer. But I think the best thing is like always holding space and like being like, you don't have to face anything until you're really ready to do it though. And I think it's a beautiful thing that people are really ready, because I think it means the things that are for you have given you enough trust to where you're really ready to invest fully in the two that's behind you, So I think that's really beautiful. Let me see anything else, Spirit. Oh, good choice. And now I'm hearing Ella Langley. Choosing Texas, I can tell. No, I'm saying you girls are choosing your high priestess straight up. That's what the new beginning goes with. That's a good... I think that this is hard. I think when there's a path eclipsed and it would involve an emotional reinvestment. It takes bravery, it takes courage, it takes, humility. But I mean, I'm happy for you that you have this in your life, because this is a personal awakening. Like, to have a high priestess outside of you means that you really needed them to see that in you. So that means the high priestess in me sees the high priestess in you. So that means you're opening up to non-physical phenomena. It's definitely going to help your life. Because every new beginning comes with what's seen and what's unseen. And so I just don't want you to miss out on 50% of the experience. But yeah, the high priestess is like a good time in terms of like a new creative beginning. I just feel like it's going to be maybe the first time that you have like a high priestess that's attached to like a new start you're being given by the divine, just because it's like your divine feminine is going to know like where it's going. So that's really cool. I think it's really cool. I'm hopeful for all of us. But yeah, I think you have the strength. I think that's the thing, is like the tower, all these things are showing up in the cards because it's like, I think it's just your natural time. I think it's cool. I think it's only going to add to the fact that this high priestess like would know how long you actually would need to. They're not actually going to give up on you. It's like we always say with the divine. It's like you kind of have to wait till it's all said and done with the divine, because God always delivers on the promises. Because in the end, you're like, you know what? I prayed for that, and it did in the end kind of weirdly actually end up happening the way I asked for it. It's one of those moments where it's like the divine feminine like you thought the whole way like this bitch, but your divine actually like I tell Dennis this all the time. Like sometimes if he's like, oh my God, I was just totally working through a personal block and I can see where it was holding me and my relationship back. But then he always is like, yeah, but even if it felt tumultuous, like you didn't go. You were always still here. And over time, you'll realize that with long-term shit, that it's like, it's meant to last, because it's like you might be in the thick of it and think there's no way this thing can make it through. And they're there, So it means they were going to make it through. Because again, I think if you were to look back and look at your past self in any amount of time, you would have been like, this. I think the way you were acting and building all this bullshit on top of it was because you were so certain this thing wouldn't stay with you through your darkness. And I feel like it definitely did. It was your flame. You give this new beginning to whatever kept the lights on when it went dark for you, That's your muse. So that's cool. Cheers. So proud of myself to do work tonight. All right, we're gonna get this one uploaded. Thanks for swimming with me through the Pisces waters. You're Mary. Okay, bitches. Peace and love. I hope you go to bed happy, because this is uploaded. See you guys.